Hey guys, I just got finished playing Balatro. I kind of was able to get to the halfway point of the game. I mean, I played as much as I could, but this is a rogue style game, so you need to keep constantly restarting, getting better sets, and using your luck and strategy. And so you kind of play these games until you more or less get sick of them, really. So through playing this game, it's really not my cup of tea, really. I mean, I enjoy poker, but I don't enjoy card video games because I thought, well, I can just do that in real life as my argument. And so the way Balatro is well worked out, there's no how would you call it? There's absolutely no story or anything. It's strictly just playing cards against the CPU. And there's no real betting involved, which is interesting. The only thing that's involved is that it's basically poker rules, but there's no hold'ems. You know, you always have your full hand, deck, and basically it's just normal poker with a bunch of like game multipliers. So imagine. Imagine someone would be playing poker and thought, oh man, wouldn't it be great if I only needed four cards to make a flush? That was actually my favorite card. When you're like, okay, I have a 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9, and you're just missing one. And so there's one card that buffs that, so you only need four in a row. So there's a lot of really cool shortcuts, multipliers, and mutators in this game that I see why it's so popular, because it just takes the normal game of poker and it just adds all those gamification elements to it. So there's no characters, you just kind of go from round to round playing, and it kind of works in a three-cycle structure. So you have the small blind, the big blind, and the boss, which has a special rule like, oh, you can't play the same type of hand more than once. And so the way it works is that you kind of each round you have a number of hands that you can play, a number of discards, so you can throw away up to 5 cards per hand and recycle them. But you have to get the set amount of points before your hands run out. And then if you do that, you go on to the next phase with a shop in between, and you can spend money, which you get from how well you performed on that round in that round. You think, oh, I'm betting for money to use in the shop. No, there's absolutely no betting here, which is, again, it feels kind of odd, somewhat out of place, but that's how it is. All the hands are completely normal. You know, you have pair, two pair, full house, etc. You know, all the normal hands. It's just how you get them. So the big way Balatro approaches poker is that your score is constituted by a multiplier, essentially. And so there's weird little mini rule sets like, oh, if you have a heart on the field, it'll give you a +3 multiplier. So it'll take like your normal card value. So let's say you get a two pair or a single pair of twos. That's going to be 4, and it's going to be times 0. And then whatever multiplier you have on the field is going to change that, which are your joker cards, which you can have 5 at any one time. And so the joker cards are things like, yeah, if you have all hearts, you get an extra bonus. If you, have a certain type of flush, if you have only even numbers, odd numbers, if you only play 4 cards instead of 5. There's all these different little things that they'll give you massive multipliers for. And so you kind of want to maximize that. And so when you start off, you're doing maybe, 40, 80 points. And by the end of the game, or by the, later, you're doing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of points via multiplier. And so it's just winning that tier. There's no real gambling involved, which is kind of interesting, to be honest. Outside of that, there's also some extra cards that you can use on the side. So besides your normal deck, you can also open up packs, which will give you sometimes normal cards, but sometimes slightly boosted cards. Like you might have a 5 of diamonds, but it has, gives you extra coins or points when you play it. Or, it has a multiplier that, it works better when it's in pairs. You also have tarot cards, and you can basically store these and use these to buff certain cards later while you're playing. Certain things like you can turn certain cards to steel cards, so they give you multipliers when they're in your hand, or you turn them to gold cards so that when the round is over, how many gold cards are turned into money at the end of the round, and things like that. And some of them are kind of random and crazy. And of course, you do have the booster packs, which you can buy separate from the individual cards, which give you a selection, and you can join or rather choose 2 or 1 out of the pack, essentially. And besides the tarot cards, you also have the celestial cards. And so these are planet cards that essentially will give certain buffs to certain hands. So full house, 2-pair, straights, etc. And you can continually level those up. So there's about 4 or 5, at least 5 different sections where you can really compound your multiplier and really begin seeing major improvements. That, you know, again, it's a rogue style game, so you're going to have a lot of resets and a lot of different ways that you're going to like, oh, I didn't realize, maybe I'll try a flush hand this time and I'll get mostly flushes and hearts or something. So you can max out hearts, and you can, using tarot cards, change certain suits to hearts and basically add cards to your deck, so you're not dealing with a normal 52 card deck. You could have 60 or 70 card deck with a bunch of really crazy tricks in there as well. The one thing that I think is really great about this game is that each card that you are looking at, that are, you know, the multiplier cards, the non-deck cards, they have essentially rarity ratings to them. So rare, common, uncommon, etc. And these really help the player, at least me, figure out, oh, okay, this sounds not like a very good card, but it says it's rare, so I'm going to use it anyway. Because sometimes that's the one downside, is that you read the description of a card and you think, oh, I think I understand, but not really. And until you start really using it, you say, oh, that's what it really does. It's a multiplier of the cards in my deck, not on the cards in my hand. And you don't realize that until it happens. What is also good about this game, despite it being a card game, is just how everything moves in the game. How the cards do a little rumble, react, how the screen transitions. The first time we went to the first boss, it became all red. I thought I was fighting the Gia gas in a casino or something. And aside from that, yeah, just the designs and style of the cards, the transitions, the kind of animations they all do feel appropriate. And from a sound design perspective, it's very mellow, very chill. You kind of get into a groove. It's not like pumping music. This isn't Space Lord Organ Trading Simulator. This is a very chill but also very intense and strategic game. And it's very nice, but as much as I like it, I just can't understand how this won Game of the Year or Indie Game of the Year when there's so many other games that are so much better. I feel like, I don't know, maybe in game journalism in general, or in the market in general, there's a tendency to look at and award games that are pick up and play, very easy to digest and understandable, that have a limited amount of complexity and are much more digestible for the common and, I don't know, general market. So at least I can understand why this might have been chosen for Game of the Year. I mean, it's definitely one of the better card games I've played, but for it to be the top dog just does not comprehend to me all that much. In any case, I did have fun playing it, but I only played it for like a few hours, and to my expectations, it was like a half-day thing that I'm not going to revisit. But yeah, that's Balatro. I gave it a shot, and wasn't bad. So yeah, that's all I got to say about this one, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.